Hey there, Dragon Ball Super Community. My name is Pedro Carrasquillo, and I'm gonna show you guys my SS4 Vegeta decklist I used to get top 16 at the Miami Card Fest. Before I get straight into it, though, I just want to talk about real quick about my day and all my matches and all that stuff. So real quick, so Bandai was for the Card Fest they were trying to test out a best on one pre-site format. So basically the whole concept was to you only played like one game as usual, best of one, but you were allowed to the moment you and your opponent like show you guys as leaders, you are able to sideboard. So all in all, I feel like that was pretty interesting to do. It was a very good concept, especially like for best of one, because it also allows certain matchups to not just straight up lose to bad matchups, and it gave you a chance to sideboard certain cards that would actually help you to play against X matchup. So I feel like it's not a bad idea for best of one in the future. Even though probably best of three is like most definitely the better way to go for it because it's like, but if they actually do keep like play, having us play best of ones and regionals and stuff like that, I guess it's not a bad idea to keep moving forward. So it is what it is. My round one, I played against the new 616 Trunks and Vegeta, the yellow deck. So that matchup was pretty straightforward. I was able to ram pretty efficiently. He didn't see his Trunks blocker until like way late in the game. It was like I was already charged up to like 4 or 5 energy by the time he played it down. So it was pretty good on me. And by the time the game was over, I was already at 12 energy. I android him and proceeded to kill him afterwards. So, like he had no cards in hand, no more hand advantage. So I got that one pretty efficiently. Round two, I played against Golden Frieza, my good friend Mike. I didn't win that matchup for like okay. So long story short, I won pretty easily because he bricked very hard. I've actually never seen him brick as bad as he did that matchup. Is like, and I was able to capitalize by playing all my one drops. Is like I literally had two Borgos and three East Kais on the field. It's like like by the time I had all that stuff developed and almost so much energy already ramped up, is like he just couldn't come back. So like I felt pretty bad because I know that matchup does not be so as one sided as it is. It's like he's a good player. And but yeah, it is what it is. Like sometimes it's like just variances and bad hands do happen. So it's nothing you can control. Round three, I played against Janima Mill. Probably like one of the more scarier matchups is like throughout the day because like Mill has been being so prevalent throughout most of the events. Even after they nerfed the Frieza that Android 18 was playing, like Janima Mill and also Kilomere were still actual decks playing played in the format. So it's something to look out to. Fortunately, I was able to win because I was able to get to turn 7 before he actually milled me out, so I was able to shuffle my whole hand back in the deck, giving me enough cards to try to not lose to deck out. So the last part of the game is basically he tried to push because I ended up hitting myself down to one life, and I sparking negated one of his swings. But I was able to get enough, like exactly enough combo power to get out of any. He was down to one life himself, so he basically scooped up afterwards. I'm like, okay, like got pretty lucky there. Like I said, variances sometimes is like you get good things, sometimes you just get bad things. Round four against I played against Gogeta Zeno. That matchup was also pretty close. My opponent, during his last swings though, he kind of misplayed because he was trying to get rid of his Unison to try to bring back with Kai. And the problem was he wasn't able to at the time. Kai, if I remember correctly, only plays the unisons from the warp and the hand, so the drop doesn't count. So since he overwhelmed beforehand, that kind of cost him the match because his last two swings were one drops, and if he was able to free develop the Pykohan unison again, he probably would have been able to kill me. But yeah. But also part of a misplay on my end is that I let him hit me with the Vegeta with a double strike when I had exactly 5k to combo out of it. But I got lucky in hitting a negate out of my life, and he developed the pan to try to kill me at 40k. Me being at one, I just negated the swing, and then he scooped afterwards. So it's a misplay on my end. Something I gotta try not to do ever again. I gotta avoid it. Round five, I played against the Gogeta that came in first in the event. He was playing some very interesting cards and cards that were then very different from normally what Gogeta plays. Is like his SCR was Kai instead of Pan, and one of the cards he played in me after I baby hashed him was the Bardock, and it's like The one turn prior, I did not develop the hatch. He developed Kai and wiped my Unison out, and then the turn I hatched him, he played the Bardock, and him having the Kai was literally the game changer right then. That's what it costed me because if I wouldn't been able to keep my Unison on field, I would have been able to kill him the turn I android him. But it is what it is. It's like and plus he had enough cards between his warp and his Unison still had 4 markers, which is also a misplay on my end. I should have checked him down to 2, and I had the ability to do so. So it's something to know in the future. Is like regardless of what he top deck, I also gave him the outs to try to kill me. So it's something I most definitely have to be careful of in the future. It's like Mirror Unison, if whenever it has 3 or more markers, hit it. don't just let it sit there. Round 6, I played against U7 Goku. The matchup was pretty straightforward, as to be honest. Like, uh, the I was able to win pretty easily because my opponent just didn't see Android 17 till way later into the match, and like by that point, it's like he just was losing card advantage rather than gaining card advantage. And like I just went to my straight game plan. It's like either Android 17 or Kale, and it's like boop boop boop, hit, die. Okay, cool. Next match. uh, Round 7, I played the live stream against SS4 Bardock. Fortunately, probably the first live stream ever I've played for Dragon Ball. I was able to get it. It was pretty good. It's like I don't feel SS4 is that rough for me, to be honest. Even though the leader can like check the unison, and they also play the one green Gohan that when they charge they can hit your unison for markers if it has 3 or more. Even with all that stuff, it's like it's not that easy for them to get rid of it that simply. So all in all, I played my cards right. I played slow. I played carefully as best I could, and the one turn he the one turn he Gohan negated me. Afterwards, I just be like, okay, I only got 1 more swing, right? Okay, cool. I'll just play KO. I just bombed like his whole board, and like even though I was only able to swing 1 more time, it's like like Kale did her job pretty well, and I was yeah, matchup pretty good in my favor, so I can't complain there. And my last round was against Robbie's Turbo Hyper Aggro Red U7 deck. Funny enough, the way he was playing against me was very interesting and very different from like most other U7 players. It's like it's not just the fact he was playing like stuff like Heartfelt Plea and some other weird stuff in his deck. It was also the fact that he was playing properly throughout my turn. He never let me hit a single time throughout the matchup. So it got rough, and I was also forced to have to baby hatch on turn 3. Is like I did it so early. Like I've never had to play baby hatch with that little energy before. And because I was forced to do it like that, it's like the game just went completely in his favor, and there was really only so much I could do. So it is what it is. That was my last match for Swiss, and I got 11th place out of top 16. It was yeah, all in all, it was good. Sadly though, my top 16 first round was against King Cold, and I took the L pretty badly. Sadly, SS4's main problem for Vegeta in particular is like its hand control. He was playing a lot of hand control tools in his sideboard, and a couple already that he had in the main board naturally. Is like by the time he had his unison developed, he Cell Kamehameha me a couple times, and then eventually he played the freezing down and kept ripping more cards out of my hand. It's like a lot of my cards are just net ones. It's like, or one for ones to be specific. It's like play a card, draw a card, play a card, draw a card. But it's like it's not like I'm playing pot of gray, draw 2 or anything like that. So it's like I was losing more advantage as the game progressed, and I only was able to hit him 1 time throughout the whole match. So yeah, the matchup was just very rough. It was almost impossible to win. So. But it is what it is. It's like I had no control against who I was playing against. It's like I could have played against a favorable matchup or a more neutral matchup where I at least would have had a decent chance. But it is what it is. So anyway, all in all, the event was good. So I had no complaints. Well, let's get into the deck profile before I keep rambling on. All right. So Vegeta, good old Vegeta, SS4 Vegeta. Alright, so you guys already know him as Ramp Vegeta. His auto on swing is draw a card, and once per turn, whenever he deals damage to the leader, you look at the top card of the deck. If it's a mono blue card, you may place it in your energy area as rest mode. If it's not, then you place it back on top of the deck. Funny enough, in the cages, like it's something to consider. Like depending on what card you flip, you might want to consider not charging it. Like for example, your Baby Hatch. Luckily for me, throughout the day, I did not ever see Baby Hatch ever doing this effect, so that was good. So I never had to think about it twice. Also, if you already have cards like the Zeno Super Combo in your hand, there's like it's something you can always be like, okay, you know what? I'll just charge it anyway because I can just grab it later throughout the match and it'll still be good. His Awaken is probably one of the weakest ones in any leader ever. Literally, you draw a card and flip over. That's it. You literally just draw one card. And the main reason why they did this was try to balance him out because he already like naturally gives you so much advantage by hitting every time is like they had to balance it out in that factor, but not by not untapping an energy, which I completely understand. On his backside, basically he does literally everything he does on his front side except for everything is once per turn. Once per turn, draw a card. Once per turn when it hits, look at the top. Ramp it if it's blue. Has to be mono blue. Don't forget about that. Don't try to be charging no dual color blue cards. It has to be mono blue specifically. And his new once per turn when he awakens is whenever your opponent attempts to play or attempts to activate a counter skill, regardless if it's counter attack, counter play, or counter, you may basically switch his energy this guy back to active mode. So pretty good. It's like a lot of times you just want to swing with the leader first to see what your opponent does. It's like, oh, then you gate, cool. I'll just try to hit you again. Pretty straightforward, right? So for the one drops I was playing in the deck, I'm gonna start off with Iskai. Iskai pretty straightforward. On play, draw a card, and whenever your opponent intends to play battle cards throughout your turn, your opponent has to bottom deck a card. So pretty good, pretty solid stable that Blue's been playing in general. So the next card I was playing as a 2 of in the main board was this Borgos. On play, draw a card, and when your opponent ever tries to switch an energy back to active mode without using an awaken skill during their turn, you can rip any one of their energies. So it's pretty good. It's good into the mirror. It's good against Golden Frieza. So like this card can put in the work in those matchups. And the last one drop was one of the super combos I played, which was Zeno. Zeno also has the on play of drawing a card, and his other auto, when you combo with him, if you're at 5 or less life, you can grab any card in your energy, add it to your hand, and put any card in your hand and place in the energy in active mode, which is pretty good. It helps you grab certain pieces you're missing, like to try to kill off your opponent in the next turn. So you just hold on to this for as long as you possibly can. Super combo it, grab whatever you're missing, and charge whatever deck card you have in your hand, and then it just works out for you. And then the last super combos I was playing, there was 3 of this Vegeta. Basically says bottom deck a card, draw 2, pretty when you're 4 less life, pretty straightforward. Uh, this ratio for me was fine because it's like you only really need the Zeno the one time. Is like, and the problem with Zeno is like unless you play him, you don't draw cards, and you don't want to be like just putting him out there to just get KO'd or warped or just be answered very easily. So the only times I would ever play him was the turns is like I have excess energy and I was gonna be playing Enter 17 that turn and I wanted some more combo power just to keep it on the board. So that was pretty much it for those. For my 3 drops, I was playing probably one of the better ones in my decks. Uh, Vegeta the Interceptor. This guy is pretty good for this deck in particular for the simple fact that you just don't do too many plays. He has dual attack and counter whenever your opponent, but basically you just play this card from your hand. Like it doesn't really matter. You normally just play this throughout your turn, but it's pretty neat when your opponent like tries to do a counter or something during their turn, and you're able to slap this down for 3 energy during their turn. So it's just kind of funny. His auto is when he gets played, you get the bottom deck 2 battle cards on your opponent's side of the board, which was pretty solid. It's like this guy came in clutch throughout the whole day to be at like gave me access to turn plays. Is like it's in a sense like the 6-drop Roshi, but you can play this way earlier, which really does matter. You don't care about the crit that Roshi has. You care about the fact that he can bottom deck 2 cards. So we play this instead, so we can play this on like turn 3 or any other earlier turns before turn 6. And yeah, he's just a very good body, dual attacker 20k. It's just very solid. The other 3 job I was playing in my deck was Heroic Prospects. You already know what this guy does. His energy cost is reduced by 2 if you have a Unison. Counter attack, negative attack, play this card, and auto when he gets played until the end of the opponent's turn. Whenever they try to swing for anything, any battle card greater than their energy, they have to bomb deck 2 cards. So all in all, his effect didn't really come up. The one time I did play him down was against Gogeta Xeno, and he got Super Kamehameha, so that was pretty sad. That was pretty sad. All matchups I did side this guy out because he just wasn't doing too much, sadly. But he's still a good card. I one card develop a body in the gate. that could probably that you can floodgate your opponent in certain scenarios is actually not that bad. So I would still keep this in the future. The one card I am heavily debating between either cutting completely or sideboarding is the Baby Gohan. Counter attack, you negate the attack and play this card. He has Servant and Auto when he's played until the end of your opponent's turn, and whenever they attempt to attack with anything, they have to bottom deck a card. The problem with this guy is that he's 3 energy, and there's so many like in particular is U7. Like they're playing so many like of the counterplay they'll just get rid of it before it gets played, and you're wasting 3 energy just to play this, just to negate one attack is like it's just so neg. I sided this thing out so many times. It's like I'm probably gonna cut it completely or just keep it on the sideboard. I don't know. We'll see what happens in the future. That's it for my 3 drops. Next up for my 5 drops, we were playing God Ceiling, of course. Already know what God Ceiling does. It's like his permanent is like you can use them for free if you have a Unison, and whenever they play anything with energy cost of 7 or less, you bounce it back to the hand. And if for some reason you do not bounce it, you can play this card for free. So it's pretty good. Uh, only to I did God Ceiling a couple times. It's like reason why I'm playing 3 and like not 4 is because you can't really develop this as like until turn 4. And like I only play 1 Unison as the Blue Unison, so yeah. And I don't want to play 2 because it's like there's times you do need to see this card. You can't just be like, oh, I'll just play 2 because I can barely ever use it. No, it's like in case you have more than 1 in your hand. Worst case scenario is it's combo power, or you can just use it to charge. So that's fine there. Other cards, 2 ofs. Baby Golden Avenger. I only really used his counter skill once, and it was like after I Andrew 17 my opponent, and I top decked this, and he tried to negate me with oh yeah, it wasn't the Trunks round. It's like he tried to negate me with Nimbus, and I drew this, and it's like okay cool. It's like I have so much excess energy. It's like okay cool, just drop this down, stop your negate, and then kill you. But yeah, he's unique, triple strike, counterplay. Whenever your opponent tries to play a battle card, energy cost is 7 or less, bounce it back to the hand, play this card, and counter, you stop the counter, and you play this card, and when he's played, you can bottom deck something annoying berry. So, it's pretty good. Then one of the MVPs in my deck, 100% is Kale. Kale is so good for this deck. It's like, especially when you hit turn 7, that's when she goes nuts. So, she has deflect and dual attack, and she has the auto. Oh, my bad, not dual attack. She has deflect and double strike. My bad. Dual attack she gains in a different portion of her skills. But she has auto when you play her from the hand. Yeah, you trigger 1 or 2 effects depending on basically your energy count. If you play her turn 5, turn 6, she basically has the auto that you choose all your opponent's battle cards with energy cost of, if I'm mistaken, it's 3. Yes, 3 or more, and you bottom deck them. It's pretty neat. But her more broken portion of the skill is when you play her for 7 energy. Literally, she gains barrier, she gains dual attack, and she bomb decks everything ignoring barrier. Like, that's so good. Like, your opponent tries to counterplay this card. You do not care if there's something like the green freezes or stuff that like have pending autos when they come into play. Because like when she comes into play on turn 7, she'll gain barrier, so they can't target her. So they basically just okay, cool. You just develop the body is gonna get bomb decked anyway. So good, nice try. But yeah, Kale came in like very very clutch. So I throw most of my matchups. For my 6th drop, the only one I was playing was this Vegeta. When he comes into play, you look at the top 4 cards of your deck and choose every mono blue card from among them to either put in your energy in active mode or add them to your hand. So the whole deck is mono blue. That's like it's pretty straightforward. You literally just like look at the 4 cards of your deck and be like, okay, I want to keep this, I want to charge this, or I don't care about any of the cards. I'm just gonna charge them all. So he's a blocker as well, and has the auto at the end of your turn. You can switch him back to active mode, so you can literally just be like, okay, I'll put him down. He's still around. Cool. You didn't answer him. Boom, swing, and at the end of the turn, I have a 30k blocker. So try to push over afterwards. And for my 7 drop, the only one we play, of course, is Andrew 17 Turn of the Tide. Everyone knows that this guy he has crit deflag, and when he comes into play, both you and your opponent have to shuffle your both of your entire hands, and your opponent has to shuffle all the battle cards in their drop back into their deck. So against you 7, funny enough, if this comes down, is like you just basically put him back to turn 1. So if he ever comes down, it's pretty crazy. And of course the only 8-drop we have, which is our secret rare Baby Hatch. Everyone knows Baby Hatch. You can counter end your turn when he comes into play. That's pretty much all he says. Cool. And now for the only unison we played in the deck, of course, our beautiful Fist, our Bunison. He has double strike, blocker, and his +0 is you draw a card, and at the start of your opponent's next turn, yeah, you untap him and an energy as well, which does play around against certain cards like Borgos, for example. Like because it doesn't restand your energy during your turn, Borgos will not rip an energy out of you, so that's very good there. And his neg one is like probably one of the more broken reasons why this card is so good is that whenever your opponent swings to a battle card, you can bomb deck any one of their battle cards. Plain and simple. So. Now to start with a couple of our extra cards that we play in the deck. Of course, we play D Magic. Sparking 5, you can play him without paying the energy cost by taking a life. And counterattack, negate the attack, and untap 2 energy. Like, generic blue, broken stuff, of course. Then the other 4 if we play in the deck is Sensu Bean. Whee! I like this one. This artwork with Goku throwing the bean to cell is pretty dope. Yeah, everyone knows what this does. Activate battle, pay 1, you give any card, essentially your leader during the opponent's turn plus 5k, and you untap 2 energy. It's like, this card's disgusting. It's been enforced for so long, and it's like, but this is probably the main reason why a lot of our cards are so expensive because we try to get our energy back to try to play out certain things, but is what it is. The main way we're trying to hit with the deck is with the UI Kamehameha. Activate battle, pay 1. You give either one of your leader cards or battle cards plus 15k for the battle. If it's your turn, so this is so funny enough. Most of the IARs or the image rare effects or whatever the heck, this is the only one that has 2 effects, which is kind of funny because all the other ones only have 1. During your turn, you draw a card. During the opponent's turn, you untap an energy, which is, I mean, it's just a net 1-for-1. Is like the whole point of this card is to give the leader plus 15k hit. Okay, cool, ramp. That's the main purpose of the card. It's like, and it can help you out combo in certain scenarios where you need the extra 15k, and it helps you get out of it. So it comes up. Of course, we're playing our good old token generator blockers, Chill's Army Reinforce. So counterattack, negate the attack, and make a 10k block, 10k token that has block until the end of your opponent's turn. And you can sparking it by taking a life if you have 5 or less. So, yeah, the sparking comes up sometimes. Probably the like one of our MVP extra cards in this deck is like this. Obviously helps out the leader hit, which is the whole point. But not only this allows you to hit, this also helps you respond to threats. Beerus destroys. Like this is probably one of the better Realm of the Gods cards. Activate battle, you give any one of your cards plus 10k, and also you trigger 1 or 2 effects depending on whose turn it is. If it's your turn, you bomb deck a battle card that has an energy cost greater than the current energy. If it's the opponent's turn, you draw a card and you bomb deck anything that has energy of 2 costs or less. Funny enough, a lot of the times that I was signing out this Gohan, I was just putting more of these in because it's like this card is just so good in a lot of matchups. Like I cannot say how good. Like this card definitely overperformed. It was great. I loved it. It was amazing. But yeah, that's it for the main board. So let me get these out of the way real quick. Talk about my side. All right, sideboard. Start off with. All right, I'm gonna start off with the cards I definitely sided in the most. From the most to the least to the I didn't side in at all. 2 more beers destroys. Like I said, this card is mostly like it's good against a lot of matchups. Against Gogeta Xeno, you like to use this during your opponent's turn as well to try to bomb deck their annoying 1-drops. And during your turn, if they ever develop any of the sixers, you'll be like, okay, cool, just get it out of here. Develop your other engine to play it again. I don't care. Vegeta ready to rumble. So the main theory about playing this card was that since Red had such an easy time trying to take care of both Trunks and Gohan, he basically plays around those cards because he's a 4-drop and a 20k body. So even something as like Gogeta Xeno, for example, even they cannot Super Kamehameha this thing because it is an energy cost of 4 and not 3, and that comes up. And if you are able to have enough energy to develop this down, it deters your opponent from swinging at all. Cause let's say they already swung with their thwarting, and you negate the leader swing with this thing. You're basically halting their whole turn because they don't want to be just sacrificing energy when. Let me explain this card. This card was not my main. So he has blocker, counter attack, negate the attack, play this card, and until the end of your opponent's turn, whenever they attempt to attack, they will lose and they have to sack an energy to do that. An energy, not a card in their hand, an energy. So like that deters a lot of people from trying to attack anymore. Because like why would you want to be losing energy? Because the problem with this card is the fact that not only negates the initial attack, he comes down as a blocker. So if you're trying to hit my leader, I'm gonna be like, okay, cool, block, lose an energy. Okay, swing again. Okay, cool. Let's say I have the Bunyasin again, block, lose another energy. It's like you're losing too much energy. The blockers on my side of the field, so it's never a plus. So yeah, this card did pretty well. Uh, I did play this a couple times, and like a lot of times I was just siding out the Gohan because it just wasn't that good. And then Intoxicated by Justice, one cost negate. Whenever your opponent swings, you negate the attack, and also has a nifty effect. You choose one of your opponent's one drops and ignore barrier, and you can do one of two things. You can put it into their life and draw a card, but let's be real, you're never gonna do that. You don't want to plus their life. That will just make the game so much harder for you. And then the other portion of and then eventually they're just gonna get back to their hand anyway. But the other effect is basically you just bomb deck it, which is pretty much what you just straight up do. You don't care about drawing another card yourself and giving your opponent a life. You just want to get rid of the thing. It's like, okay, cool, bomb deck, and I want to see it again. Cool. But yeah, these were the cards I definitely did side in the most a lot of the times, and the card I sided out the most was Gohan. Baby Gohan 100%. That card was just not good. Cards I sent in the least. Yeah, let me go through these real quick. So, Dirty Burst. The theory of Dirty Burst is like since Sin Shenron was getting so much popularity, I wanted another tool to be able to answer during their turn. So that way they just can't swing with their big edge draws, and literally they're not gonna be able to threaten you at all because without their battle cards they don't do anything. But sadly, throughout the day I played against Zero Sins. Zero Sins. And that deck was getting so much popularity when Texas, and I was like, okay, cool, this is definitely gonna come in handy. It was like I literally only sided in against against U7 Goku because that was another theory, just to try to stop their 8 drop from attacking and ripping cards out of your hand, and that way you don't have to worry about then also dual attack double striking you, and it's like, and you can just be like, okay, cool, I just don't want you to swing, period. But into that matchup, this card just didn't come up at all either. That was the problem. So a lot of the times it's like. The one time that the 8 drop was actually developed was was when I played against Robbie, and I was already tapped out, and I had the baby hash that turn, and like I said, I never ramped a single time, so big sedge. This Borgos has barrier auto when play, draw a card, and basically if your opponent ever untaps energy using a counter skill, then you rip an energy and rip a life, which is basically so. These cards are mostly in here for the blue matchup or the mirror in particular, because to be honest, like that was the other issue. Like I didn't play against. Well, I play against Janemba, but that's not an actual like normal blue deck. His strategy is to mill me out, not to like untap his energy like 50 billion times. Like this card, most definitely I did put in, but like the main issue is like if you play too many cards that say draw cards and he's milling you so much, it just gets rough. It gets really really rough. So, but yeah, I put this in to take this out because he's not Soul Striker. He didn't use beans at all. So it's like I just took this out to put 2 more of these. This is just for again just blue matches in general, and for Golden Frieza. It's like it helps you stop them from untapping during their turn, which is something they try to do. And Krilling is something I try to test out. I only put this in for Golden Frieza. I didn't really use this in any other matchup at all. So I mean, it was good. It's good in theory, but it really just depends on who you play against throughout the whole day. So that is what it is. And for the cards, I did not side in at all. Tragedy, Overground, and Jiren. This is in particular for blue in general, like a mirror match and any other blue variant except for Janemba Mill because it doesn't do anything. And this is for the mirror. I didn't play the mirror the whole day, but I was still trying to respect it because I was not gonna be the guy to lose to it. So, but yeah, that's the whole point. Like if I ever play the mirror, I put these in. If I see these, I keep these. I don't want to like get rid of them because I don't want to be randomly seeing them as like, oh boy, well, trying to put it back on top. because this is literally the only black card or non-mono blue card in my whole deck. So yeah, and Tragedy Overground is just didn't do anything the whole day. It was just bad, I guess. But like I said, I just didn't play against any mirrors. So it is what it is. But yeah, that's the deck list there, my guys. All in all, the event was good. Everything played out pretty smoothly. No complaints on my end, and I enjoyed myself. It was a good day for the most part. And to put in retrospect as to why I picked SS4 over something like Soul Striker, I felt like this deck was way stronger in the current format because the threats it develops are definitely way stronger than what Soul Striker can put out at any point in time. And also, funny enough, this deck easily beats Soul Striker too. Like that was my main issue, especially like testing in locals. Is like I was losing to SS4 so many times. I was like, Jesus, like this. I just couldn't run over them no matter how hard I tried. It was like I didn't have anything that had barriers, so like any of my big threats just got easily bottom decked by Boo. But it is what it is. It's like, but I'm glad I took this pick. It's like this was like last week thought process before I went to the event. And I'm happy with the results. I'm happy how the deck played. I'm glad with some of the choices I did. I was not happy with some things already that I had on board, like Gohan. Again, I did not use that card at all the whole day. So, but again, it is what it is. Like the theory was good, but in practice it just didn't come up. So it's whatever. Shout out to a couple of my boys, Mike, Chris, Wing, Jose, Jordan, like all my guys from locals, and some of the other boys in Miami. It's like it was a good time. Had some good food. No complaints on my end. It's like it's a good time. Except for that one situation, but we won't talk about that. But yeah. And oh yeah, and also shout outs to PPG as well for like hosting a very good event. To be honest, it's like I had no complaints like throughout the whole day. Everything went very smoothly. Uh, pretty tight ship. So that's all from me, boys. Anyway, see you on the next time. Take care now. Bye.